Congress just enacted a historic crypto law that was great news for XRP holders. But what does this imply for Ripple, XRP, and the whole crypto ecosystem in the future? Let's take a look at everything sans the hoopla. A historic event just happened in the crypto realm that could change how digital assets are regulated in the US. The FIT21 bill, which stands for the Financial Innovation and Technology for the 21st Century Act, has been enacted by Congress. This shows that lawmakers are changing the way they think about Bitcoin. This change is especially important for anyone who own XRP. A lot of people in the crypto world like to make wild guesses about prices, like $10,000 XRP. But this law isn't about that. It's about making the law clear and building the infrastructure that could finally make it possible for people to use it in the real world. So let's get the facts straight and talk about what FIT21 really does, how it helps XRP, and what it really implies for the market. Let's start by breaking down the main parts of the FIT21 law. In general, the law's goal is to make it easier to tell the difference between digital goods and digital securities. For a long time, the absence of clear rules has kept crypto ventures in limbo. They can't function in the US with confidence because they might anger the SEC. That uncertainty has led to heavy-handed enforcement and a lack of new ideas. FIT21 makes things much clearer. This regulation says that digital assets that are decentralized enough, meaning that no one central entity is in charge of the network, are now considered digital commodities and are the responsibility of the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, CFTC. This is a big change because the SEC has said for a long time that most cryptocurrencies are within its control. Now we can talk about XRP, the token that Ripple Labs made. Ripple has been fighting the SEC in one of the most famous crypto litigation ever for almost 3 years. The SEC said that Ripple traded XRP as an unregistered asset. But in July 2023, Judge Annalisa Torres made a historic partial judgment that XRP is not a security when sold to the general public on secondary marketplaces. This verdict made Ripple and its supporters very happy, but it was still just a court decision, not a law. That's where FIT21 makes a big difference. FIT21 effectively strengthens XRP's classification as a non-security in most circumstances by defining digital commodities in line with Torres's understanding. This strengthens Ripple's legal case and makes it less likely that there will be any surprises from regulators in the future. One of the most essential components of FIT21, besides the categorization itself, is that it makes the law clear. Before this bill, it was hard to tell the difference between the SEC and the CFTC. Each agency had a distinct idea of what digital assets were. The SEC takes over if it acts more like a security. The SEC takes over if it acts more like a security. This is important for XRP. Ripple has been saying for a long time that XRP is not an investment contract, but a utility token for making payments across borders. FIT21 backs up that stance even more in court and gives exchanges and institutional partners peace of mind that XRP may be used, exchanged, and integrated without breaking securities laws. Next, let's discuss about exchanges. One of the most immediate effects of this new bill is that it will make centralized exchanges more willing to list and relist XRP. During the SEC litigation, many US exchanges, including Coinbase, Kraken, and others, decided to delist XRP or limit its use to avoid being involved in the case. Some people started relisting XRP after Judge Torres's judgment, but FIT21 is much safer because it clears up any legal confusion. This will probably lead to additional liquidity, a wider range of options, and fresh enthusiasm from consumers who were previously unsure about investing. XRP needs to be easy to get to for it to become genuinely widespread, and FIT21 helps with that. Let's take a brief look at the price hype now. You may have heard influencers say that this measure will make XRP go up to $10,000 or more. Let's tackle some easy math. There are over 53 billion XRP tokens in circulation. That would make the overall market cap $530 trillion if each one cost $10,000. The whole world's GDP is roughly $105 trillion, which is a lot more than that. So, no, XRP is not going to reach $10,000 anytime soon, and probably not ever. At least not without some huge change in the way money works throughout the world. This bill doesn't ensure huge gains. That's where the real opportunity is. It makes it possible for practical adoption, corporate collaborations, and stable regulations. Now that the law is clear, Ripple can more confidently go to banks, central banks, and governments to get them to utilize XRP for cross-border payments, managing liquidity, and even building the infrastructure for central bank digital currencies. Ripple has already worked on blockchain-based financial projects with countries including Palau, Colombia, and Bhutan. FIT21 might help these relationships work better and grow in the US and other places that want advice from US regulators. Stuart Alderodi, Ripple's chief legal officer, has praised the measure as a big step forward in regulating cryptocurrencies in a responsible way. He stresses that clear laws are the basis for new ideas and long-term growth. Companies have to spend more on legal defense than on research and development when there aren't clear standards. With FIT21, Ripple can spend less time fighting lawsuits and more time building out its payment system. This means that more money can be spent on collaborations for product development and new ideas, all of which could help XRP's value and usefulness expand over time. We shouldn't forget about the bigger picture of cryptocurrency either. FIT21 isn't just good for XRP, it's a step toward making the whole digital asset market more grown up. It gives projects a clear way to register and follow the rules, so they don't have to guess what authorities will say years later. It also supports American creativity, which has been leaving the country because of unclear rules. With a clearer path, we might see a lot more blockchain businesses choose to build in the U. That change could bring new goods, users, and ways to spend XRP. Even yet, it's crucial to keep in mind that not everything is fixed in stone. The SEC might still fight aspects of the measure or use its power in a way that is more aggressive than it should be. Experts in the law say that this is only the beginning of the conversation about rules, not the end. Also, it's still not clear what institutional XRP sales are. Judge Torres's judgment didn't fully cover that area, and it's likely that new laws or court decisions could change how XRP is handled in private offerings. FIT21 is a win, but it's not a complete shield. Investors should keep an eye on everything and stay up to date. So what should you do if you own XRP or are interested in Ripple's future? First, enjoy the victory. This is actual progress, not just guesswork.